We haven't even, I think, thought about New York City. I mean, even just when you mentioned it, it kind of was a reminder to me that that game's coming up. So, because we're so focused on this match, and this match means so much to us. So, we've I think done a good job of regenerating with a number of different guys. The fact that we've rotated through this road trip means that we have some fresher legs. We're going to put a good team on the field and certainly prioritize what we're doing on Wednesday, and always we'll just move on after that like we normally do. So that usually hasn't been a problem here. We can compartmentalize and kind of get through things one game at a time, one day at a time.
You ran out a really strong lineup a couple weeks ago in the Open Cup. Now round of 16, similar kind of mindset, even with 2 matches last week and then a match on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean we'll put out a strong team again. We'll rotate a little bit just to make sure that we're getting fresh legs on the field, which is important for the way we play, and that we're not risking injury by overusing guys. So, we kind of have had a blueprint. The blueprint was thrown off a little bit by Aurelian's suspension and now by Gideon's injury a little bit, but we still had a good idea in mind as to who we want to use where, looking at different teams and matchups, seeing what kind of form different guys are, and then rolling out a team that we feel confident about.
Watching Copa America must have been a little bit of deja vu. You saw teams implementing more and more of the high press. Do you see that as being something that's going to become more the norm now, in not just international soccer, but across the board as these teams have success?
Yeah. Listen, I think that the fast way of playing, whether you want to call it high pressing, whatever you want to call it, but is becoming something that teams find is beneficial. And it was certainly, I think, the 2 teams that did it the best in Copa America were Argentina and Chile, and they were the 2 that, they're obviously talented teams as well, but they now emerged in that tournament as the 2 best, and I loved watching their style of play. I loved looking at how they choose to do it and how we choose to do it and the nuances, and then even I think we've been at the forefront with set pieces. I think we've done a lot of unique things and tried some different patterns and ideas to try and free up and create advantages in set pieces. And I think you see more teams doing that now. And so I'm not saying that we're inventing that, but I think the game's becoming more innovative, and that's what's fun. I mean, that's certainly one of the things we try to do is just come up with new ways to be dangerous, to be hard to play against. And I appreciate when I see other teams that do similar types of things in their own way.
The rave a few years ago was the Barcelona style, the tiki-taka kind
yeah.
of. Is that going to be as the high press perhaps and up-tempo kind of?
Well, if you really want to, if you'd have first the possession style, but then when Pep went to Barcelona, then he introduced the counter-pressing so that when they lost the ball, they won it right back. So, that's something that we do. I think that's something that I thought Argentina did that really well in the tournament. But Argentina also still spaced the field in a really good way and tried to create spacing and matchups and advantages in certain parts of the field, which tactically is a way of trying to unbalance teams. So and listen, that the team that does that the best in our league is Columbus. So there's some of that in them, and so so you when all of us who watch the game, I think that are coaches, you're always trying to just pick up on little information and little ways that different teams and different coaches do things, and then figure out how it fits with your group.
Did you see the U.S. make any progress in this tournament in terms of style and identity? Or?
I don't know. Certainly good game against Costa Rica. Tough game against Argentina. Those games are hard, and those tournaments are hard because you have so many games that come back to back. So it is key in those games that when you have a full roster that you use it in the right way, and that everybody's clear what their roles are. We chose to go with a lot of the same lineup and a lot of the same players, and that probably add up to a lot of fatigue and certainly cards and everything else. Progress, I don't know. It's not my job to estimate that.
It must have been good to see Damian Peronel get minutes with the USL team.
Yeah. And he's looked great in training. He's getting closer and closer. So, we're trying to figure out how to integrate him more and more. There's USL games. We play Copa America coming up, and then ultimately it'll all lead up to first team opportunities. And so I think having him, he's looked great, and there's been no setbacks once he stepped on the field and started playing. So those are all good signs.
And Sean Wright Phillips was working with us, and the younger guys as well.
Yeah.
Perhaps close.
Yeah, Sean's really close. So he trained today, and I think he'll be, he should be available for selection by the weekend.
When do you think Damian will be ready? senior team?
Well, I hope to get major minutes out of Damian in the Club America game, and there's potential he could be available off the bench and before that. But for sure, that game will be used as a really good barometer to push Damian and see where he's at.
And then you guys kind of have a funny fixture with next week, July 6th, Club America. What was kind of the rationale going behind putting that match in with all the matches that you guys have? Was it with the Champions League in mind, or?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely to play a South or Central American team. I think was good to get used to the kind of the types of players that you see. So that was really good to schedule that kind of team. And I'll tell you what, I've been very, very impressed with Club America. I think they're the best team in North America that I've ever seen. So they have great talent. I love they press as well. So they play a very fast game. They're very organized. I thought they dominated Champions League this year. So that'll be an awesome test. And it's always fun playing Mexican teams. They're good.